Hello everybody, welcome to Throwback Chevy. Michael Coughlan here. Today I show you how I upkeep my chimney. I clean it out to get rid of the creosote buildup on the inside for safety and improved performance. Coming up after this. Okay, so it's a mild day in the city of Toronto, approximately 3 or 4 degrees. So we can all sit back and enjoy this kind of weather, or the proactive gene in us may motivate us to actually do something that we'll need when the cold weather hits again. And in this case, I'm going to clean out my chimney for improved performance and, of course, safety. There's creosote buildup, which I've talked about a number of occasions before on Throwback Chevy. And it's important to clean out your chimney flue. So here you go. You can see here, I have a removable cap. I've already taken the nuts and washers off. See that bolt? It is rife with creosote already. We did go through a cold spell, and I was able to stay warm with my wood stove. And this cap has served me well. It's removable. Thanks to my friend Mike Crawley, who did some welding and just did an amazing job. You can see inside there, that's creosote buildup. That's your enemy. So it's important to clean out your wood stove flue, and of course the inside of your stove as well, every month or so. And if you're using it daily and all day long and all night long, then maybe even every week. You can never be too sure about this sort of thing. So what I do in this case is I'll take a screwdriver or something to scrape this material out. You can see it flakes out. It's pretty easy to get rid of, but it's a messy job. And of course, do it outside or somewhere where you can lay some sheets down or something to that effect. So what I do is I clean out that cap, of course, the first thing. And then I'm fortunate in that I was able to go to Canadian Tire and buy a barbecue cleaning brush. It's got some great brass wire bristles. It's pretty robust, and it does a great job with this length at cleaning out my flue pipe. Now, my flue pipe is rather short because I'm in a van with my wood stove, so it only goes down about 2 feet, 2.5 feet. So I'll show you what I do here. And it's important to add, you should never do any work on your van without a beer in Canada. So I'm going to move the camera over, and you can see that mess on the inside of the pipe. And there you see the header wrap that I've put inside and on the top portion of the outside of the pipe as well. I'm going to move the camera back a bit to keep the creosote from flying onto the lens. Chim-chimney, chim-chimney, chim-chim-cheree. I feel like Dick Van Dyke. Only the older people who are out there watching will get that reference. Now, all the creosote that's falling down to the bottom of the flue pipe will end up right at the top of the stove. And on the inside, I'm going to show you that I remove 2 plates, and then I can have the creosote, it will end up falling into the inside of the stove. And then I just scoop it out and put it in my ash bin. So we'll go inside, and you can check out that process. But I'm going to continue here. Okay, inside the van now, and I'm going to open up the stove and remove those 2 plates I was talking about earlier. So you're going to need your stubby Robertson screwdriver to get at those, because the space obviously inside this tiny wood stove is limited. Now you don't have to pull the screw all the way out, you just have to loosen it enough so that the plate is loose and can be pulled out of the position in which it rests. I'm not quite there yet. There we go. Okay. So you just have to remember that the flanged end goes to the rear, and this 90-degree flat butt end goes to the front. So it situates like that up top. Okay, so I just lost a lot of creosote that fell out of that plate. So the stuff that I brushed out from the flue pipe from the top has fallen to the bottom, and these plates will catch it. Now, some will rest atop that air distribution venturi that you see. That's a central conduit that draws in air from the bottom of the pipe, which is controlled by this pull lever, and that air comes up and helps cycle the flames for a more efficient burn. But it'll catch some of the soot that's fallen through from the top. So you have to get a brush or a vacuum or anything. Use your hands if you have to brush off the top, because now all that creosote that we have brushed out of the flue pipe has fallen atop that thing, as well as these top plates. So I'm going to get my brush and try to clear off the top of that. Now it's a little awkward for me to be holding a camera, talking about what I'm doing and executing at the same time, but I'm doing my best because I got the James gang cooking on the ghetto blaster, and I have my beer, so things aren't too bad. So there you can see, hopefully you can see some of that creosote dust that is falling off the top of this venturi conduit. So basically it all just falls into the stove, and then you scoop it out with the rest of the ash, and you can dispose of it. I keep a steel pail in the van here so I can scoop out my ashes regularly. And then when it's not too cold, I venture outside to get rid of it. But yeah, I've got a lot. You can see all that black creosote dust sitting on top of the regular ash. It's a real mess. I'm also going to brush away at the side of the venturi conduit. I don't know what you really call it. I'm sure the cubic mini wood stove people are cringing at my terminology right now. But keep those clear, because that cycles the flame within the stove. And obviously, you'll get a more efficient burn. So I'm cleaning the other side now. There's holes on the other side as well. And that's it, kids. So now I've got a cleaned out flue. And I just have to brush out the ashes, and I'm back in business for when the weather gets cold. So this is my ash pail. So I just prop it under here. And I use, as you can see, a garden spade because it's about the right size for this stove. And have a good look at that. That's ash and some black creosote debris that has fallen. And we just dispose of that later. But be sure you have a steel pail for this, obviously, because if you've recently burned, these embers can retain heat and danger, therefore, for a number of hours after you understand that your fire has went out. Sometimes it burns on, burning embers. And I like to leave a little ash in the bottom of the stove. I think I just get a better burn that way. So there you have it, folks. That's how you clean out your tiny stove in your van. Woo! I feel like Dick Van Dyke. Thanks for hanging out with me on Throwback Chevy. All the best in van life. And the Winter in a Van series continues. I hope you've been enjoying it, and be sure to check my other videos on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. You can follow me on Facebook. I'm also on Twitter at RealMCoughlan, Instagram, Michael Coughlan Music, and look me up on Steam It, my latest venture, and it's been a lot of fun starting to get to know the community on Steam It, and I have been enjoying that. Not much else to say. I'm looking forward to some studio in a van segments here on Throwback Chevy. Rob Zabo, tremendous Toronto musician who's from KW, my hometown, is going to drop by the van, and should be fun to speak with Rob and catch up with him again. It's been years. He's an outstanding songwriter, performer, and producer. So there you go. Thanks for hanging out with me. Looking forward to seeing you the next time.
Freedom's just the currency of life, ladies and gentlemen. Let it rain.